Hey, welcome back to Atlas Updates, and this time around it is a major release. We've got multiple new maps. These maps are going to be connected via portals. We have new ships, we have new shipyards, we have new buildings, we have new Army of the Damned stuff. It is a massive patch. There's lots and lots to cover, so we'll start off small and we're going to look at the new ships. Alright, so we're looking at the first new ship, which is called the Cog. It is a cut down version of the Majestic Kraken, and it's basically just got a single module in the middle which you can replace with gun ports when you have them. You build this in a new shipyard called the Basic Shipyard, which is similar to the Advanced Shipyard, where you only can build modular ships in there and you get the Cog. The Cog costs virtually nothing, so it is very much designed to be your entry level ship where you can just get it. It comes with a sail already on there, so once you've actually paid the material cost, you're going to be able to get onto a ship and you're going to start sailing. And if you spend enough points into the ship tree, the ship making tree, you can actually replace the modules with guns. And so you can basically upgrade this to have some firepower, even though it being such a small entry level ship, you may not actually want to do that. The other ships that are available are the Carrack. So over there is the Carrack, and that's basically the broadsider, but it has no modules on it at all. So it's just a blank canvas ship. Once again, you can actually add modules to it, but the Carrack you will only find as blueprints from loot. So you basically have to do your shipwrecks. I believe the Kraken fight is also going to have the ability to drop the Carrack. And then the Harrier ship, which is over there. Let's just fly over and have a quick look. The Harrier is the mortar ship. Okay, so the mortar ship, it's got rowing banks down the bottom and a single mortar at the front. And it has no firepower other than that mortar, and it is being touted as being more maneuverable and faster. And yeah, that one actually costs the same as the mortar ship, so it's 22,000 gold and 200 gunpowder. But that's it for basically for the new ships and the new shipyard. Next up, we're looking at the skill trees. Now, they've completely revamped a lot of how this works. Things have moved around everywhere, and the survivalism tree, which is the first that you actually get, has been made to be where you actually unlock all of the disciplines. And so if you basically want to get to shipbuilding, you have to unlock down to shipbuilding in the survival tree. And so these other trees won't actually unlock disciplines at all anymore. They're just trees by themselves. And they're making it so that the new level cap being 110 and the base cap before actually getting discoveries being level 77. And the idea is that you can't actually dig into every single thing. Basically, you'll need to plan within your companies who's going to have what role, and then obviously with smaller people you're going to have to work those respecs to be able to build and then change over to maybe do shipbuilding, and then maybe change over so that you can do the artillery, and then once you've got all that done, maybe you have to change again so that you end up with armor, weapons, ranged weapons, so on and so forth. The idea is that you won't be able to unlock all the necessary skills, and people should have specific roles, or at least that's the way that they're touting it. They have removed the song and dance discipline altogether, and firearms has actually been put into ranged combat. So next up, we're basically at the Freeport, and they've basically done a little bit of an update to the Freeport area to give it a little bit more in terms of its look and feel. And so this area here on the very first starter place is much the same, but when you come out the back, you'll actually find a whole new village. And this village is basically populated with a nice look and feel. It has some of the vendors, so that looks like the seed vendor over there. Over here we basically have the cosmetics vendor. The guards and things that you see around, they actually don't do anything, they're just NPCs that are around. There's some crafting areas, again this NPC just does nothing. A blacksmithing area from the looks of it with a forge and with an NPC, just to give the village a little bit more depth in your start area. And I noticed, yes, there's some boats and some jetties here in what was a blank area before, and on the other side of this particular start area there is broken down ships in the reef area of the bay. And if you actually bother to visit the other Freeport areas, they've all had a similar upgrade. When I was over in the Frost one, it had quite a significant area to actually visit. Right, it's well and truly nighttime still here in the ice biome's spawn point,
Nighttime. Daytime!
But let's have a quick look and I'll show you what I was talking about. If you were to follow the pathway outside and go all the way up the hill, it just keeps going. And this looks bloody fantastic. Nice little raven statue totem up into a village with more totems, and the village just keeps expanding up the hill, up into more castles and parapets with more totems until we finally get all the way to the top. So yeah, I really like the build here in the frost area. There's more totems over there, more village stuff. Yes, so the free ports have been revamped. Now that we've looked at the changes to the free ports, we should have a look at the change to the maps itself. If we have a look in the atlas, we are currently in Rookie Cove down here on the free port on the bottom. All the free ports are here. As you can see, there's basically the 4 identical islands on each of the different biomes free ports. Probably disregard the power stones that you're seeing. The more important part, if I can turn off the grid markers, is the portal nodes themselves. So these portals are how you're going to travel from the Rookie Cove into the other areas of the map. You have your central waters, which is a bit of a bigger one. So we're now looking at, what is that, 6x5 grid of the central waters. The trade winds appear to be in there as well. Africa, once again, you've also got a 5x4. Kraken's Lair, so as you would expect, that's the maw. You'll need to basically get the power stones before you can actually travel through the central portals to be able to even get into the maw. And so that's the restriction to get in there. South America, we have a 6x4. North Pole, 5x2. And Antarctica 6x2. And so it's basically taken, I guess, the biomes, or at least something that's a little bit more discrete. And so you'll be able to travel between the different biome areas via these portals. Some of them are proper portals and other ones are damage portals where you'll need resources to be able to activate them as a one-off. And we'll have a look at that next. So here is an example of one of the portals for travelling between the regions. This is a portal that exists in the Rookie Zone, and as a result this is what they're calling one of the Pathfinder portals. And this will take you through to one of the other regions. We might as well travel through that now. And so all you need to do is make sure that you aim for the dot on the blue coloured one rather than the red coloured one, because that's actually the alternate direction, so people coming back in will actually be coming from that particular portal. Alright, and just like when you're actually traveling through grids, there's going to be a lag as you come into the new area by design, where basically nothing really much is happening. And as you can see, I came out of the red one there, and I need to wait for it to load in fully before I actually would get control of my ship. I've actually just stopped it so that I can show. Now that I'm into this new area, if I go and zoom in on myself, basically we're here on, we are Central Waters. We've managed to come in upon. Now, so that's an example of a Pathfinder portal. We should probably teleport now over to I1. We'll go and ditch this vessel and I'll teleport over there and we can have a look at a perpetual portal. We're now here on I1 with a perpetual portal. As far as the look and the feel of the portals, it's absolutely identical. But we're here and it's called the Northern Perpetual Portal. And this one's kind of cut off, so we can't actually see what that one's called. But if we go to places like South America, we can see an east-west perpetual portal. There's a southwest perpetual portal. And if I go to Africa, we can see an east-west perpetual portal. And we can see an Antarctic perpetual portal. And so what we will actually probably find here, and I'm going to see if I can actually go through these without a boat, because I'm pretty sure you can actually swim through these if you so chose. This should take me through.
Missed it by that much.
Maybe. Yeah, it's gonna go. Maybe I came through the wrong side. This should take me into the Northern Arctic region. Alright, so we've gotten away from that noise now. It definitely looks like an Arctic region. Let's go and have a look at the atlas. And sure enough, this does look like the North Pole. And so These different portals will take you to different regions. We should probably go and have a look at a damage portal now. You will need a specific resource to be able to travel through a damage portal, but those are available as well. So let's go and have a look at one of them next. So here we are at one of the damaged portals, and as you can see, we cannot actually open the damaged portal because we currently don't have any gems. You're probably going to want to be able to bring in about, say, 50 odd gems. Let's just spawn in 50 for myself, and voila, I can open up the portal. So let's quickly open up the portal, see what the thing looks like. Is that it? Oh, no, we got a reaction. There we go. It starts making a bit of noise. Apparently you only have a short amount of time, so let's get through. This side, I've got no interaction point with the portal by the looks of it, and it's just red, so this should be an exit portal. And so when we have a look where we are here at 3.3, and looking at the map, where are we? We are back in the Central Waters, and this is what they are designating as an exit portal, so you can't actually go through this. So yeah, portal with a red dot in the middle, exit portal. Here we are coming across the Central Portal, and because this is a brand new character, I haven't done any of the Power Stones, but as you can see, this looks like a fairly impressive place for a portal. Let's see if we can give ourselves all Power Stones. Dun dun dun. Quickly close that off. And we have the option to open the Central Maw. Well, that's a bit unfortunate with the sounds, but visually that's bloody great. Alright, so we've finished doing the map. Now what we are going to have a look at is transient nodes and the transient tracker. And as we can see, I've built myself a transient tracker. The way you learn it is in the skill tree. You will go down the piracy tree down to the knowledge of the old ones, where you can build the transient tracker, or at least learn how to make it. That is then built in the forge itself, and once you've made one, it will react very similarly to the compass, and you get a pointer. And if you follow that pointer, it will take you to the location of transient node, which appears to be actually shown via these little green fireflies. And yeah, basically I found this one. To harvest this, it looks like you need to build yourself the grave digger thing. And the grave digger is obviously the exact same knowledge of the old one. And so to be able to build a grave digger is what we're going to work out next. Alright, so unlike the transient tracker, you can build the grave digger structure within the smithy. We take our common grave digger over to our transient node, plonk that down, access the inventory and have a quick look, and away it goes. It is now harvesting cursed bone chips, which is one of the new resources which you're going to need to be able to build other things. Here we have the next type of node. So unlike a transient node, we have static nodes, and apparently there are two types of static nodes. There are damned altars and cursed altars. So what have we actually got here? Well, this one just says altar of the damned, but when we look inside, basically we have cursed wood. Right, so there's a new resource that basically it just sits here and it actually builds up, and with some metal it looks like we can actually make ourselves a Army of the Damned smithy. Here we have the other type of altar. Yeah, it's a nice funky looking thing. Nice. And yes, much the same. You basically pop in, and this one seems to have a little bit of a weird thing going on right now. We'll find out whether it's a bug or not. But yeah, opening and closing it several times, and eventually I basically can find what looks to be an inventory that's been running for a while with tons and tons of cursed wood. And so we're going to move on next to have a look at what we can actually make in the Army of the Damned smithy. Next up, let's look in the smithy. So I've already spawned in a bunch of the resources, as we found from the previous stuff, and we also have the very first thing that you can get, which is the Army of the Damned ritual. You will get this when you're looking under the the knowledge of the old ones. You can basically build the Army of the Damned ritual pedestal. And it's the only thing that you'll be able to build in the first instance. So we might as well. I've already built one of them. This is what it looks like here. And within this, it will slowly charge up from 0 up to a maximum of 300. And from there, you can basically open up the inventory, or rather the menu, and choose whether you want to raise the dead, sacrifice, collection, or use the unnatural fog. Basically, the ones that we're mainly working with is the sacrifice collection and the raise the dead. So we want to basically set the sacrifice collection to begin with. It'll cost 80, and then we go and find something to kill.
You're gonna wish you died. Ooh, ah, ow, ooh, ooh, ah, ah, ah.
Nice little visual effect in the sky there at the moment. Maybe there's a kind of a radius for all I know. Oh, the effect's gone. Alright, with the dead bird, we can actually see a heart has dropped on the ground. But otherwise, there's not really much else that goes on. And so for every creature you kill, you're going to get one of these hearts. What I don't get is an indicator of how long the effect lasts for. Okay, so we've collected, or rather I've spawned in lots and lots of hearts. You need to put them in the inventory. You get this lovely change in graphics. There's a slight heartbeat noise in the background. Nice little added effect there. Alright, and so now we want to run the raise the dead. Oh, here it comes. Yes, yes. You not automatically unfollow? You can't whistle him unfollow. Okay, now he's following. Okay, good. Ooh. They attacked. Nice. Let's see how bad these things are. Whoa. Jeez, they're brutal.
2 cups of rice. Brutal. Okay.
My goodness. Here come the ants. Now, what you're probably seeing is that they're level 51, and in theory they should be, yes, they when you spawn these in, they come in with the same level as yourself. Another snake over here, is there? Oh, you can even farm hearts with them. Oh, that's really good. So you can basically get one of them, and while the timer's still running on the farming, you can just have them run around killing stuff for you and pick up hearts. That's really nice. They seem really strong for NPCs. So for this next section, basically I haven't got any of the things learnt, so we're going to have to look for where they come from. And it should be in the secrets of building. Now, even though the list does not actually contain it, it is actually the secrets of building that you're looking for. And now in the cursed smithy, you can basically, or the army of the damned smithy, all the extra items have turned up. And this is where we're going to start building the various monuments. And so we're going to have a look at that now. This also includes that songstone that we see on the other side. Okay, so we have placed our songstone. We have a verse book. So with the songstone and the verse book that you actually get when you interact with the songstone, you get one of these per company. Each company is limited to one verse book, so you've got to guard it well. If it's stolen, it is lost for good. You can charge it up here, and it looks, based on the text, that you can only recharge the book once every 7 days. If you lose your book, you will have to wait a whole month to be able to actually rebuild the book, the verse book. And yeah, you get 100 charges. Based on what I can see with the current book, 2 of the things currently have no charges, and the Embrace the Curse has 15 charges. But given that I'm actually looking at this on the PTR, these currently aren't implemented that well. But the idea will be that you can spend charges to give yourself a song script that you can then use. And so at the very least, I've been successful in getting the Where Be the Dutchman song. But that's about it. The other one was giving me softwood and things like that. But we'll see whether on the day of release that gives something a bit better. Alright, next up, I think we will build a burial mound. And it comes in 3 parts. Basically, you need a foundation, followed by a framework, followed by the actual structure itself. Okay, well, that'll do.
That'll do, pig. That'll do.
Let's build the next part, which is the foundation. Dink. Whoa. Didn't like that. Okay, no, I did build a foundation. That did a weird thing while I was actually standing on it. But yeah, you can see there's a... Oh, it's loaded in. That took a little while to load in. So you've got a timer on the build. Yeah, framework seems to be up and running. Oh no, it is. It's slowly building itself. I can't see a timer on the actual framework itself. I don't know if it's just loading in or whether it's actually got a timer. At any rate, that's pretty cool. Framework is up. And then we put the burial mound itself in there. And everything disappears and we're left with the... Ooh, hello. It refunded the materials for the framework. I'll ditch this stone because that's too heavy for me. Hello. Yeah, you can go away, Cobra. Alright, let's have a look. Nice little burial mound. Little pillar out by the sand. It looks pretty cool. It's actually nice how it actually clips into the ground too. Actually makes it a little bit more authentic when it's in the ground like that. The options are, it just looks nice. Okay, so now we've built the burial mound. The burial mound is supposed to change it so that all creatures that die on the island and any meat that's in your inventory all get converted into spoiled meat. So let's have a look at this thing. It has no inventory. Let's start harvesting. Oh, that's telling me I'm getting lots of animal meat. That's all animal meat. Okay, next up we're going to have a look at the Cursed Voodoo Totem. And for some reason it in the PTR it's not recognising the crystal, so I've spawned one of them in for myself. But we can build a framework, and we can build the actual totem itself. Okay, that looks good. It looks like a very similar foundation. I wonder if they could change that so that the foundation and the framework are just like a... Oh, okay, no, that's heaps different. Okay, will this do the same thing as last time? Will it build up? I mean, they could have a common foundation for each one, and then you have a different framework for each one. Yeah, over time it does build itself. Okay, 3-stage build. Whoa, what's that doing? Blue is hanging out. Anyway, bam, done. Whoa. Once again, it's loaded me down with materials. Ditch the rocks. Verse book, spyglass. Pop that down. Okay, so the idea with this one, and I can't do anything with it, but the idea with this one is that this is supposed to make it that you can consume rotten meat, and which would go hand in hand with burial mound over there, which allows you to harvest. Is it you that's making that noise? Anyway, the burial mound will be allow you to get rotten meat from all the creatures on the island, and then the Cursed Voodoo Tower allows you to actually consume the rotten meat. For this next one, which is the Cursed Temple, this appears to be one where they were talking about in the previous patches where it would be a significant effort to actually get one of them built. The foundation itself isn't too bad with the material cost. It's big, but it's not crazy. However, and I'm going to spawn in a little bit more stuff here, the requirement to build a Cursed Temple is actually quite large. especially when you consider that you need 15,000 of the new bone chip resource and then another 10,000 of the cursed wood resource. So that's actually quite significant. It's going to be quite doable, but yeah, you're going to need to get quite a lot of materials. Get culinary studies. We grab a equipable studies. We're not going to worry about the items just yet. Structure studies. Vessel studies. Okay, that appears to be all of the study rooms. Cursed Foundation is done. And while I was heading down here, I was actually thinking to myself that it took time for the framework to actually set itself up. And I wonder if the monuments actually take a certain amount of time to come into play too, and that just hasn't been implemented yet. Anyway, Cursed Temple. Whoa, again, I've just been smashed by the lag as it destroys the framework. Although there's no framework on this one, it's a two-piece build. Hold for more options. All I can do is demolish it. Gosh, that looks weird. It's nice. Oh, hello. Nice.
Nice.
Thought I saw a hole in the back. Oh wow, nice. You can go inside. Hell yeah. Hey, look at this. Oh, this is real nice. Not sure what this central piece here will end up doing. Maybe when we put some of the studies in here, it will be done. But the number of studies is actually 5, and it looks like there's going to be 4 places within the temple where you can actually put stuff. And yeah, it's snapped in there. Each one of these, the astronomy room, culinary studies, equipable studies, structure studies, and vessel studies, these all can be built within this monument, and they allow for the relevant structures to have a chance, when built, to be masterwork quality. Astronomy studies grants the sextant buff to all company members. So we're going to build that one first to see if we actually get it. I did. I've got the sextant buff. Oh, that's really nice. And that's to all company members, but does that mean that it only works within this island, right? So, because you can build these monuments per island. So does that mean that that is for every grid? Or is it for only this one grid? That will be interesting to find out. The culinary studies allows food recipes to be crafted up to masterwork quality. Done. Okay, so the inventory basically acts as a crafting station as well, and so you could, I guess you can craft these, and you have the ability then to potentially get a mastercraft quality food, which is actually pretty cool. Equipable studies, which allows for all armor and arms to be built with a chance up to masterwork quality. At the moment, I can see that this has already got, I guess that's journeyman. Is that journeyman? No, that's fine quality. This has got fine quality equipment in there ready for me to build. And I don't know if that's the randomness coming into play, where you actually get to see right off the bat what is the random quality that you're actually going to get. So if I make this, maybe it will give me a different quality later on. Be interesting to see how that one actually plays out. But you're getting random qualities for using these buildings. Structure studies. So I assume that this is... Oh yeah, that's pretty much just all of the things that you can build in the smithy. And yeah, okay, so you can see here we have a wood floor. It has journeyman quality straight off the bat. And then my wood wall has a fine quality straight off the bat. So they do have a bit of a random quality for, I guess, the items that actually allow you to craft with a quality. Not everything is going to have it. But yeah, very interesting to see how that one's played out. In here, it probably is what you'd expect. You're going to have your modular and other ship pieces. Yeah, regular and modular, amongst other things, and yeah. So you don't need to go on out and get those blueprints. You potentially will get something nice in here. Obviously, it's not crazy strong, like you're not getting your mythic quality stuff. But if you spend the time to build the monument and the study, you could start outfitting your ships with something that's a little bit better rather than having to do treasures. You just have to do a hell of a lot of farming. Ooh, there we go. Nice. There's a Masterwork quality standard ship railing. And you'd be hating yourself for the luck of the dice with that one. Okay, before we craft the last two items, we'll round out the notes itself, and just that there were a couple of bug fixes around alcohol not working properly and shipyards being placed in unintended ways. Some miscellaneous changes where some terrain issues on custom servers loading were fixed up. Barrel damage has been lowered with hand-to-hand placing of barrels remaining the same. Gold has been increased from all sources. Sounds good to me, given that I've heard people not liking how much it costs to get certain things. Cobra's making a big mistake there. 198 damage. Oh, that's crazy with those NPCs. Loading screens have been added while transitioning to a new grid. Yes, I've seen the Atlas screen come up as I've been loading. So kind of it comes up, you then get kind of a blank screen for a while, maybe an ocean screen. It comes back with a loading screen, and then you get to the new grid. But you know, it is something. But I'm not particularly worried about that one myself. Traveling grids is just going to always be a thing. And Pathfinders who face the most dangerous adversary in Atlas have been reported to find a set of ancient armour wielded only by small humanoid creatures. Sounds fascinating. And given that is the most dangerous adversary in Atlas, we're probably talking about the Kraken. And whether that's actually the hard mode Kraken or whether it's just the Kraken in general. It'd be interesting to see whether that happens. Maybe if I start another series after this to test out all of this stuff, maybe I can aim towards doing the Kraken fight solo again and see what it drops. Alright, but for the last things on the list to do, there is a craftable weapon. I would assume that this requires that you actually have the relevant skill, although I don't actually have anything in the weapon tree, which is interesting. I have ranged weaponry, but that's okay. Because one of the other things that's not appearing in here, we'll just give ourselves some metal. We'll craft one of them. The armour, the cursed armour, isn't actually showing up in the list. And to be able to craft the armour, you actually need to get down to the secrets of armour. And you can see here there is the cursed series of armour. And so now that I have the cursed armour available, I can now put it on. As we're waiting for the daylight to come along, so this is the look and the feel of the default gear. You've got the Aztec weapon and the Army of the Damned themed armor, which is actually looking pretty funky. I'm actually loving the way that my character's beard comes out of the bottom of the helmet. It's quite nice. It's interesting how ragged the armor actually is. Like there's no skin under, or it is your skin underneath. There's no undershirt or anything like that. Looks funky. I am going to see if I can colour that for when the daylight comes in, and we'll see what I can do with it. As a quick edit as well, I'm planning on putting links to a couple of other content creators. We've been having quite a big discussion on the playtest server, and these guys have been creating their own videos as well. So you'll be able to see the notes from a couple of different angles. Well, that brings us to the end of the patch notes. There's always potential that I miss something little inside there. It's quite a long list of notes, but I've gone and coloured the armour. Unfortunately, the boots at this point in time that I recorded this were not able to be painted, but I am quite happy with the rest of it. What they were able to do, from the looks of it, is you can actually put a colour on the inside of the armour and then apply a colour to the outside of the armour. So in this particular case for the chest and the helmet, I applied the red on the inside of the armour and black on the outside. And so if you wanted the traditional Army of the Damned look and feel, you could put basically a ghostly or a sickly green on the inside and then have a black on the outside, and you could basically get that effect, where you could have a light green and dark green on the outside. But my preferred colours have always been the red, black and gold, and it's come up quite nicely. Very happy with that. But since we are at the end, I should probably put a final note for those people who have made it this far. This is an enormous patch, and obviously there are going to be bugs. I mean, I've already found some just which, this is before release, but I have put these issues up there, and if people do find any bugs, and I know that for some people who've actually reached out to me, they've found it a little bit frustrating that they haven't been able to get heard when they've actually raised bugs. I'm happy for people to come and join me on my Discord. I'm happy for people to contact me on my YouTube videos, leave me comments. I do have Twitter and various other social media outlets, which will be linked down in the description or linked on my channel. Feel free to reach out to me with the bugs that you find. Make sure that you leave a way that I can actually recreate the bugs, because if I can recreate the bugs and then basically feed it directly to at least the testing crew, the developers will be able to see these issues and actually be able to action them in a quicker time than trying to filter through, say, the official Discord, which can be a rather interesting place to be. But at the very least, hopefully for those people who made it this far, thanks very much for watching. It's been an interesting time to do a video again like this, where I do a lot of B-roll action and cut in lots of funny stuff. And yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. Not just on the video style, but also what you think about the new changes. There is quite a lot here to unpack. And for a game that touted itself to be only PvP, this kind of content where you have something big to build that's interesting and provides you with something fun to do, you could also basically call this PvE content. And I mean, if you actually threw in a bunch more skins and cosmetics for the houses, I mean, they had the planter boxes in the one of the last patches, and if you expanded on that set of ideals, you could basically have these monuments and various other cosmetic things that you could make a rather interesting Army of the Damned themed village. Especially now that you can get Army of the Damned NPCs, which are ridiculously powerful. I'm very happy about them. I'm looking forward to actually summoning a few of those and taking them out and actually having them fight themselves for treasure chests. I think that'd be rather interesting. Alright, once again, thanks for watching. Make sure you like, comment and subscribe and all that fun stuff. And hopefully I'll catch you in the next one. See you later.